Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another weekend review. I am about to get into this. Another Friday night, close to the midnight hour on the East Coast, wherever you are in the different regions, Midwest, West Coast, the South. Thank you for tuning in. And if you missed this live, you can always catch the replay on there. So here it is. We're going to talk about COVID numbers. Gotta have me a sip of wine. It's been a long week. So, in terms of new cases on the global scale, we have 15,707 new cases of COVID-19. Overall, there's 771,407,825. And the confirmed death toll is 6,972,152. Now, for the U.S., of course, we have not been reporting no new numbers no more, but we're still the highest cases on the globe. We have 103,436,829, and the cumulative death toll is 1,136,920. And that's come from the World Health Organization's website. And look it up. It's covid19.who.int. That means for international. Now with the vaccinations, at least 81% of the country has received their first dose. Overall, 70% of Americans are vaccinated in the country. Even though the vaccine's ready and available and has been free for about 2.5 years, only 70% of the nation is vaccinated. There's something wrong. Like these disinformation, misinformation on the website, it's really daunting, and people should not be listening to that. But this is where we are, and we're in the fall months. Like, we're literally in the fall months. This is cold and flu season. So if you haven't got your shots, please get your shots, and still wear your mask, because these numbers are out here wild and crazy. That's all I'm telling you. Stay safe. Now with the conflict in the Middle East, so the death toll for the war in Israel just keeps going up. Also, there were some hostages released today from Hamas, which is the terrorist group. But this thing is so nuanced, and as I mentioned before, and I'm going to say this for the 18th million thousandth, don't know which number times I'm going to say this. I am not an expert in geopolitics. I'm not a foreign policy expert. I'm not a person who served in armed forces, the Navy, any of the U.S. Army military affiliations. I have not served in the Pentagon. I have not worked for an intelligence official. I am none of those things, okay? I just sit and listen. And I keep my mouth shut when it comes to geopolitics because it's so nuanced. Everything is so entrenched. And I understand there are Americans that are concerned, but we have to think of humanity as civilians instead of giving our foreign policy advice. And it's not accurate. This conflict in the Middle East has been going on since the existence of this people on this planet currently. It has. And I cannot explain it because I'm still not knowledgeable of this conflict. I'm not knowledgeable when it comes to detail-oriented facts when it comes to this. So I understand people are concerned about the Palestinians. People are concerned about the Israelis. It's like it's making you pick a side, and you shouldn't have to pick a side when it comes to humanity. You shouldn't. That's all I'm saying. I am not agreeing with the Prime Minister of Israel because we all know he's a crook. But you have to think of humanity. And when it comes to the United States' presence in this conflict, we're the only superpower in this world left. China's trying to rise as a superpower, but they don't have the stamina. We're the only biggest superpower with a lot of money. And so the stage presence of the United States when it comes to conflicts across seas, we have how can I say this? We have a sense, not a sense of gratitude, but we have a responsibility that we need to take part in to help our allies. And Israel and the Palestine, they're our allies. The Middle East is our allies. So we have to be there for them. So all of these people talking about Biden sounds like a Republican. He's being diplomatic and he's walking a very fine line. And he understands not only the intelligence aspects of it or the actual strategy and logistics of it, he understands the humanity part of it. And speaking of the humanity, his speech yesterday for 15 minutes, well, his address to the nation for 15 minutes, it was straight to the point. It gave humanity, and it gave why this man is ready and why this man is still needs to be in his office and still needs to be in his seat. I don't care how old he is. I don't give a flying fluke on how old the president is. The president needs to stay in his office because this country and this world is so heavily divided because you had a racist, xenophobic bum from Jamaica Estates got elected in that office by 53% of white women, almost 70% of white men, skim off some black folks and some Hispanic folks, elected him because he spoke their language and felt like them. That man played y'all. And because he didn't get reelected in office, he incited a whole insurrection because he couldn't get his way. This man would not know how to deal with this conflict going on. He, honestly, to tell you the truth, he wouldn't care. The United States is a superpower. We're the only superpower left. We knocked out Russia, so we're the only superpower left. As much as I don't like war, and I can't stand it for the life of me, we have to be there for our allies. And we got to provide food and water for them too. Funding. Because we're the superpower of the world. So I spoke my piece on that. And I know people going to have a problem with me agreeing with everything that the president does. But this here is the reason why he is fit for the moment. This is why he should stay in office. Because his numbers were tanking. And unfortunately, we need those middle of the road mothball people that get those calls from the landlines and give him his approval ratings. Believe it or not, we need them in the next year's election. Which some of them may stay with that bum and some may vote for him. We don't know. We don't know. We got to get through 2023 first before we make it to 2024. So there we go. And speaking of this conflict, how is it affecting us at home? Because one part of our legislative branch is in shambles. And that's the lower chamber, which is the House of Representatives. That House of Representatives is in shambles. It's a hot mess. We know one side got their act together, united, and ready to govern as always, while the other side is actually playing politics, actually playing with people's lives, actually just letting shit get dire overseas, and want to jam this president as long as they can. Jim Jordan couldn't even get the votes from his party. He couldn't even get past 200. And people are voting for other people that doesn't serve in the House of Representatives. I mean, crying out loud, one of them congressmen come from my state, and he thought he was going to win the governorship. Ain't wrong. And then y'all voted in John Boehner, the same John Boehner that y'all played and outcasted back in 2015. I swear, the GOP, not just only a clown show, it's in shambles. But they've been going down a bad road. And it started, honestly, after 1965. when Dixiecrats joined Northern Republicans, who was always a goddamn mess, and created the new platform for the Republican Party of today. Nixon was a mess. Ronald Reagan was a hot-ass mess. Dick Cheney, as the vice president to Bush 43, was basically running the show. And you had that bum who seeked on the division and played y'all and divided the Republican Party, made them a populist, anti-government, mostly anti-normed party. Republicans did this shit to themselves. Y'all got behind a man that had all his baggage, that was not for the American people, total, and did not care about democracy. Y'all did this shit to yourselves, so y'all need to own it. Meanwhile, the Democrats, united, ready to govern, and just ready to take it by storm. Because next year, the election is ours. And it's going to be a tough road. It's not going to be an easy road, but we can do this. We can flip the House back to blue and expand our Senate majority and keep that White House so we can finish the job and pass more bills to help the American people. So there you go. And because I talked about the GOP, this bum is not having a good week as normal since, he's been indicted. His main ace boon coon, one of his ace boon coons, not Rudolph Giuliani, but Sidney Powell, pleaded guilty and took the plea deal. Even though the plea deal may not be like extensive as we wanted to get, but she flipped. She pled guilty. What you think was going to happen when you try to throw away people's ballots because they ain't vote for you and fake electors? What you think it was going to happen? You wasn't getting away with that. Hell. And I think somebody else pled guilty again. Like, all his people's going to flip. It's going to happen. Even Rudolph Giuliani, his goddamn self. I'm just saying. And even when he was up here for the case up in the city, he's been deemed as a fraud. I mean, we all knew he was a fraud. We all knew that. I don't know why everybody act like this is new. This is not new. This man was a fraud his whole goddamn life. I watched him be a fraud. I watched him file for bankruptcy 4 times because it was always breaking news when I was a kid. So this is not surprising. But I'm glad my AG, she stood her ground and did the bossed up shit. She even went to court on her birthday. On her 65th birthday. That's powerful. No, not me. Not on my birthday. Hell no. But on her 65th birthday, her big birthday, yeah, that's huge. Big ups to Brooklyn. Shout out to my AG. And furthermore, because I'm about to end this. So there are folks expressing that they're not going to vote for the president and the vice president in 2024 because of this conflict going on in the Middle East. Let me just say this to y'all. Our democracy is still in shambles. It's still hanging by a tiny ass thread. On that GOP side, you got sympathizers of domestic terrorists, white supremacists, and just chaos agents. Versus on the blue side, besides those knuckleheads trying to primary the president, the vice president, you got a president that is empathetic, that cares about the country and not democracy, and the vice president ready to fight for him and fight alongside with him and his surrogates. So if y'all want to hold out your vote because you don't like his stance on what's going on in the Middle East and the positions that he's taken, if you don't want to vote for him because of this and that, enjoy having the former White House bum, because he's going to clinch the nomination with all his indictments, close to 100. He's going to clinch that nomination. And y'all not voting for him? Y'all not voting for the president? Y'all going to make that man the president again. And he's going to do way worse than what he did on January 6th, 2021. So all of those folks talking about, I'm not voting for the president because he's acting like Bush 43 and he is pro-war. Good luck with Donald John Trump from East Elmhurst, Jamaica Estates, to come in your White House and shut up those walls again. Because that's what he's going to do. And he's going to go rogue. Like, I don't understand these people holding their vote like this shit is a game. This shit is not a game. This shit is real. It's a lot of privileged people, even though some expressing it, you are not a person of privilege to be saying that shit because you're not a white person in this country. I see people of color saying it. Black people, people of brown color saying, I'm gonna withhold my vote. Good luck with that, because Donald Trump don't see you as an American. He sees you as the inferior. He does not care about you. He doesn't care about your lives. He already don't care about black life. Why? What makes you think having him back in the office, he's gonna care about you? And all of these people supported him. Waka Flocka, which I'm not surprised, and Sexy Red, I think, supporting him, and Akbar V. That bum from Jamaica Estates don't give a fuck about you. He don't care. He don't care about you. He wants your votes, but not going to do nothing for you. Not going to pass any legislation to help you. So good luck with that. And to rest of the people, as I said, that want to withhold a vote because they don't like the president's stance on the conflict of Israel and the positions that he's taking, good luck with Donald John Trump, because he's going to destroy this democracy even further. He's going to divide this nation, and the world will burn as long as he's sitting in the People's House on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that's all I got for you, folks. Peace out. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Stay dry if you're on the East Coast, and stay hydrated if you're on the West Coast, and stay warm if you're in the Midwest and in the South. Be safe. Peace out.